It is the Solar One Sci-fi ภาค cassette.
Hello, this is episode 175 of the Solar One Sci-fi podcast. I'm Michael Ball. I am joined once again by the demigod of knowledge, science fiction opinions, discussions, shows which you've never heard about, which he will make you know about, and it's always interesting to chat with him. It is by the gods of science fiction himself, Martin Fowler. Hello, Martin.
Thank you very much. Hello, my friend. How are you? It's been quite an exciting weekend, hasn't it? But can't go on about that.
Yes, we've been having some interesting conversations about stuff. Yes. But anyway, so how's things in your part of the world? All right?
Very good. I won. I got a film show at a film festival last week. I went to do. It was amazing. And I watched the audience reaction to my comedy, and they all loved it. And fantastic. That's it. Great night. And I put the video up on YouTube and check it out. That's it. So move on to the next project now. So.
Brilliant. Well, like I said, I mean, I think it's really good that you're getting recognition, because I did see the thing where you actually went up and it was quite a lot of people there, wasn't it? And you had to walk up there and stroll over, and I thought,
I didn't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
No, not very good. But it's good. It's another feather in your cap. So
yes, it is.
And you guys, are you going to come back together and do some subsequent stuff, or a new project?
Yeah, I'm planning. I will. I'm planning something now. I'm writing it all out now. Actually, I wondered if you could get us a sound effect. Actually, but I'll tell you after we've finished this.
And if you want me to do
there's a sound. I can't say it on. Because I'll tell you after.
Yeah, all right. If you can't share it, but okay. But I also, if you want me to do some Photoshop logos, graphics, something funny.
Yes, I
do. Just give me an idea of what you're after, and I'll.
Well, I'm meeting a friend at 5 o'clock, and I'm going to film him doing 3 different things, but there's no green screen.
Oh, okay. So
does that add difficulties for you to transpose him into the MGM logo? Do you need a green screen?
It would be a lot easier. Because the problem is, I can easily do the MGM logo and remix the sound, but I could put the green screen. Yeah, I need something, but normally most softwares do have a green screen or a filter or something. Where
I'm going to be filming him in public. I'm going to be filming him in
I'll tell you, this sounds dark, but if you get him near like a plain coloured wall, preferably green or blue. I know it sounds a bit daft.
Sort of white.
What the thing is, blue and green are the ones that work best. Otherwise, it contradicts a bit with the colour of Pink's skin. Right. So blue.
Okay, I'll talk to you about it after this.
Don't do red though, because that'll make him go invisible and stuff like that. Any news?
Does red? Oh, I didn't know.
Well, no, because red is close to pink. You'd be a bit transparent if you did it red. That's what.
Okay. Right.
Okay. So, I've not got much news to report this week, I'm afraid. It has been very, very dead. I
know, and there was a lot happened yesterday.
Oh, okay. Please tell me. In our 5 minutes slot.
Super Bowl was on yesterday.
Oh yeah, Patrick Stewart.
What about Patrick Stewart?
Wasn't Patrick Stewart and some? I thought there was some trailer where he's sitting there with a Stewart and it was a sporting thing or something. Is that it? I'm even talking crap.
Well, I've not caught up. They showed all the big trailers for the big films coming out this year.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm talking across purposes.
Don't they pay like $1 million a second to show a trailer or something?
Yeah,
I could say it's like the big thing, and it's Super Bowl, isn't it? I've seen the Deadpool trailer. I saw that. That's very tied into Loki season 2, but that's the only bit of news I've got. I mean, I could quite. No, I'm not going there. I'm not going. No, I nearly said it then. I quoted. I was going to quote. No. I'm sorry.
You're just digging yourself down.
I know.
Climb back up. That's it. Okay.
Turn my screen red and say.
Yeah, I know. Oh, don't stop it.
I nearly quoted.
No.
Sorry. Right, I'm sorry. I can't stop laughing. I can't. Right, let's get on some more mature subjects. Right.
Oh, the guy.
Don't say it. Don't say it. You could quote.
According to the internet, the actor Michael Jason, I think his name is, who played the Valeyard on Doctor Who, died last week. Which is going to hear about that.
Yeah.
I liked him in that. He was also in the episode with Cassandra's dad where they won the million in Only Fools and Horses. He was also in quite a few other things, which is nice to see. So.
And Michael Jaston had a fantastic voice.
He did.
His voice, there was something. He always played villains in, didn't he?
Didn't he?
You know, when I was growing up, he was always like a villain in one of them TVs. Great voice.
Didn't he do some vocal work for the Valiard for some of the Big Finish audios?
I think he did, yeah, the Big
Finish
audio.
For that, so it was nice that he returned with his character. Yeah. So, I mean, that was serious. It was just shame to hear about that. What other news have I got? I haven't got a lot. I mean, I said there was a few sort of like trailers. There's the new Walking Dead series, which is starting in a couple of weeks. That's got a trailer. And there's the A Quiet Place prequel. That was a trailer. I've not seen that either. I've heard about a few trailers, but unfortunately I've just not seen them yet, which is a shame.
I've seen the trailer. I saw the trailer for Halo 2. Actually, there's a channel called TV Series Movie Recapped. I don't know if you've watched it.
Okay, no.
On YouTube, what they do is, instead of sitting through like 20 episodes or something, they put it all together and tell you what happens.
Okay.
And I've not seen Halo. I've not seen the...
I'm curious about Halo. And I am going to try and watch For All Mankind Season 4, hopefully. Now I've just finished The Walking Dead World Beyond. The next thing I was going to watch is the... what's it called? For All Mankind Season 4. You've not seen that yet, have you?
I've seen Season 4, yeah.
Oh, okay. So once I've watched that, maybe we can review that. Like I said, I saw the first episode.
I've seen Foundation as well.
I need to see that. Oh, that's the other piece of news. Apparently, Foundation Season 3, they were about to start, and apparently they've had to suddenly put the brakes on and stop it because they've run out of money. Did you hear about that?
Run out of money? Yeah, I did. I read that last week.
Yeah, they're just about to start. I forgot about
bring that up.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So I hope not, because it's a trilogy, and apparently I think.
And I actually read that as well. It was in front of me. It was a fact.
I'm sorry, I heard about that.
It was a fact.
So,
I mean, I could quote some, but I won't. It was, you know. I read it. It was proper. I read it.
Yeah, from wherever it came from. You mean? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop laughing. I'm going to really take this seriously now. So I think we're going to go to our focus of the week, aren't we, Martin?
Is that it? Is that everything sort of covered then?
Well, we've got less than a minute on Zoom before we conk out. So
right, okay then, focus of the week it is.
Here we go, Back to the Future, Great Scott, here we go.
It's the
Solar Sci-Fi
focus of the week.
Right, we are just about to review Back to the Future Part 1, and I'll just say this actually, I'll leave this in, that Martin and I have been talking about this film for the last 10 minutes, getting to some great discussion, and I forgot to hit record, didn't I? So we're going to start again, but luckily we're not that far ahead into it. We've only been talking about the first before Marty goes. So what I'll do is, I've never done this. Martin, I'm so sorry. Martin was going into some great conversations about Back to the Future.
I'm all right. I don't have to go out till 4 o'clock. So
right, so let's go again. I can't believe this. Right. Back to the Future is a 1985 American science fiction film directed by Robert Zemeckis and written by Zemeckis, Bob Gale, stars Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, Crispin Glover, and Thomas F. Wilson. And it's obviously set in 1985 and follows Marty McFly, who goes back in time and meets his parents in 1955. Now, I've already asked Martin about what he thought about this film when he first saw it. So what I'll do is I think because this is take 2, I will say from what I liked about it, and then we'll ask Martin about it, because like I said, this is take 2, which is really bad for us because we don't normally do this. But the problem is, and I will say this, Zoom keep messing us about. You have to wait 10 minutes when you pause it. You've got a 40-minute limitation in actually recording, and even actually just before you even hit record, you've only got a 40-minute limitation thing, which is really, really bad. I liked Back to the Future. I think it was a fantastic film. I think I went to see it when it came out in 1985. I would have been about 13 or 14. And it was a film that really did sort of explode when it came out. I know that the people who made the film had no idea it was going to be such a success as it was. And I think for me, what I loved about it was that it was set right bang in the middle of the 80s. It was probably one of the most definitive '80s movies that I can think of because of exactly when it was set. So, Martin, like I said, sorry to ask you twice. What did you like about Back to the Future Part 1?
Well, this was an interesting thing because the film about the 80s we were getting, it were coming out like Ferris Bueller and
Yeah, I was thinking of that, yeah.
and my science project. We're going to have to review that at some point, and it's all that sort of from that time period. Them sort of film. A lot of the families, they all lived in big houses. They were all very suburban. Goonies, suburbia. Fright Night, suburbia. They all lived in these very nice neighbourhoods. And then we got Back to the Future, and like we get the thing where he goes down, feeds the Einstein, the dog, and then we meet his family. And we go into the house, and we don't say there's no suburban house. What they live in, they live in this like bungalow.
Yeah.
And they're walking there. Mother's pissed out of her head. She's given up. The dad, don't even get me fucking started on George McFly. Like
the original George
the brother,
McFly,
brother's got a job in a burger joint or something, and sister, she's just so wrapped up in herself, and he's like the only normal, sane member of that family. And the one that says, well, when she threw that cake on the table.
Uncle Joe,
got a glass
Joey.
of vodka in her hand.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Well, Uncle Joey's not getting out, and we only see him once.
We never
in
see
the
him. We
entire
never see.
trilogy.
We never see Uncle Joe. We never do. Oh no, we saw him as a kid. We see him as a kid.
As a kid, and he said to him, "You better get used to that."
These bars, kid. That's right.
And then suddenly we see Biff for the first time in his cheap, like he's like the line manager, the cheap checks. I mean, that suit's fucking hideous, isn't it? And he's just berating George McFly because he smashed his car up, and Marty can't use the car. He's going home, and he's like, he's doing all that, that and are you in there, McFly?
Hello, hello, anybody home?
And there's that scene where Marty stands in corridor, and Biff just helps himself, and he says, like, "What you looking at, butthead?" And that's where it.
Hang on.
Back in. And there's that scene of that family. It's just that family, and that there's something real about that because there's families out there like that. Do you know what I mean? All of it, and then the film just goes into the whole thing. Then after that.
Well, then we meet, obviously, Professor Emmett Brown, Doc Brown, Christopher Lloyd.
Fantastic.
I mean, one thing we were saying, actually, when we did take one was that all the elements of this movie just worked so well, whether it's the music, the actual story, the humour, which you pointed out, is actually... Humour's very prominent in Back to the Future.
That is the key of it.
And that's what makes it unusual. It's not just a sci-fi, it's really sci-fi comedy. You know what I mean?
What's interesting is, have you seen the 40 minutes what they already filmed with Eric Stoltz? I've seen that.
I have seen it, and it's fascinating. It is so different. He's so much more serious, and he really didn't fit the part at all.
No, he didn't.
Really
didn't. I watched it. Somebody put a while ago. They put all the clips.
Yeah, they put it together in whatever's surviving from it. It's so weird seeing Eric Stoltz.
It's like what's an alternative timeline of what could have been.
It's so strange.
And Michael J. Fox, I like Eric Stoltz. I think
I don't mind him. I don't mind him. Yeah.
But he was so not suited for that.
Why was he so wrong in the role, though?
I don't know, but it's fascinating watching that.
And it would have flopped if he'd have done it. If they'd have released it with Eric Stoltz, it would have flopped. That'd just been a filmic video library. You probably watched it once or twice, and that'd have been it. But when Michael J. Fox got put into that, and then facial expression, that what he does with his face, that. I just love all that. Insane. Because one of the reasons why he wasn't cast originally, I think they did originally want to have Michael J. Fox, but he was
Family Ties, wasn't it?
It was Family Ties, and what they did is that they had to do. He was literally doing two jobs at once. He was filming Family Ties, and then apparently, he was coming in the evenings and just filming scenes for Back to the Future, and just literally working 7 days a week because they obviously offered him a lot of money, but somebody was clever enough to think, look, this is not working with Stoltz. So they had to, and that's unusual.
I've watched it, and it's like you said, I'd watched it. it's absolutely, it's like something else.
It's like watching.
It's like
You see Genevieve Bujold as Captain Elizabeth Janeway.
that's freaky.
And she was so off. She was terrible.
Yeah.
She was exactly the same vibe to Stoltz in Back to the Future, where they realised from early on that this is not working. And
well,
just...
it said he wanted to be really serious in the part. He wanted to be serious, and he can't do it.
That's the problem. It's because I never think of it as an outright comedy, the same way as I don't think of Ghostbusters as an outright comedy. But it does have it's a lot of comedy in it, in a good idea.
Oh yeah, but it's the character stereotypes of the film.
Oh yeah.
It's that stereotype. It works. All of it works.
Yeah,
the fucked up family when he goes back to 50s, and he meets his mother and Biff at his full potential.
When he was back in the lad, kind of thing.
Yeah. And Biff's a nasty piece of work back then. He was a nasty.
He was always nasty. He was always nasty. Although we do, when we get to the end of the film, we see Biff. He's still nasty, but he's sucking up to George in the alternate timeline.
Yeah, that were in tracksuit when he's washing cars. I didn't remember that.
But we see him in the sequel where he says, like, just what's going on here? And you think, no, the nasty Biff is still there. He's not particularly nice.
Oh, yeah,
He's just in a job where he's having to wash the car.
But the Biff at the beginning of the film, he resents George McFly because he's going out with a woman he were in love with.
Yeah, but we weren't aware of that back then.
No, we weren't. But when you look at it now, he resents him.
Although he does say,
it's all fucked up.
He does say to Marty, he says, "Oh, say hi to your mom for me," kind of thing. So he obviously does still have feelings, but of course we have no idea that there was something in the past where Biff was trying to get it on with Lorraine, and of course it never happens.
Yeah.
Crispin Glover was certainly an interesting actor.
Yeah, legal
role.
action, wasn't it? In sequel over that.
And in the sequels, we just see body doubles. They do use some of the scenes with him from the original one, which apparently he sued about because he didn't give his
he did. They're quite bitter about it.
He was.
I saw him on a podcast a while ago. He was on about it.
But I think he was great in the role as George. It's a shame that he did fall out with him because it would be great to see a bit more of him in the sequels, rather than using body doubles.
Yeah. He was one of the stars of the film for me.
Yeah, absolutely. He were
up there. Yeah, he were up there with Michael J. Fox. I thought in them films, he was a big star in that film.
I liked the sequels, but it did miss Crispin Glover. I'm sorry. I wish he could have been in a bit more.
Yeah.
Well,
they got that actor in. I didn't know when I saw number 2 at the cinema. I was in my early 20s. I think I was 16 or 17 when I saw Back to the Future. Because the sequels come out quite a few years later.
About 3 or 4 years later, I think it was.
I remember the big posters with the timer on the cinema. They had like a clock counting down.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The promo posters, they had them all over where I lived. And it was like they had the clock counting down, Back to the Future. And with the sequels, he's like, I don't know, he should have been in them. But the actor that played the grandfather, I didn't realise about a year later that wasn't him.
Oh, okay.
When he's up, I didn't think
he's
about it.
He's hanging upside down when he's like the older. Yeah,
I thought it was him.
Yeah,
I didn't think about it,
and then I found out. No, they did it quite well actually. There was some long distance shots where you see him saying, "Are you okay?" to Lorraine, and you can see it's a body double, especially with HD copy of it. Christopher Lloyd, what do you think about him as Professor Doc Brown?
Oh, Christopher Lloyd, you just can't fault the dude, can you? Anything. I loved him in Taxi.
I loved him in Taxi too. I loved Taxi.
When he got took away by spaceship at London outside his apartment. Christopher Lloyd is...
He's a good actor. I like
He's somebody I could sit in a room with all afternoon.
Just chat
to him. Yeah. Because he's so out there and so insane and bonkers. Christopher Lloyd is just fantastic. And he's the right chap. And in Back to the Future 3, he kissed his first woman on screen.
Really? I didn't know that.
He'd never done a screen kiss. Yeah, I know. Yeah, apparently.
Oh, that's
Mary Steenburgen or something.
Yeah, in part 3 in the Western one. And I still
Yeah.
remember him from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in the asylum.
Yeah.
He was in that.
Yeah.
And he's in a few other films. He was in Who Framed Roger Rabbit as well.
Yeah, he was the villain. He was good, fantastic in Star Trek 3.
Cruz, Commander Cruz. Yeah,
Yeah, he played that. That was seeing him as an evil character, and I have to say,
he was.
he was
really good.
absolutely superb in that film. His acting race, because you stereotype him so much with Back to the Future.
Oh yeah, I mean it was his
Taxi.
defining. I mean, I think he's defined for those things equally:
Yeah.
Taxi and Back to the Future.
But when he played Commander Cruz, he was completely malevolent and evil.
Oh yeah, but then he was slightly more disguised because he had the Klingon makeup. But he obviously
and he's another one. He's got a fantastic voice.
He was recently the Mandalorian, wasn't he? He's obviously quite old now, but it was nice to see him back in a contemporary shot.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
But what's interesting, he's another one like Michael J. Fox, them facial expressions.
Yeah,
because
very visual.
When it were always these like I'm getting my head done in moment, like like that, and you'd start laughing. He did the same thing, and they were inseparable them two in that film. But I just loved it when they went back to the 1950s and he met his mother when she's in bedroom with him.
I think what I like about it is that because ever since 1985, when we got to 2015, and you see the differences between those 30 years, and you see the differences between 85 and 55, a lot did change in 30 years. I mean, a lot does change. I think there was. I mean, do you think there's more of a change between 1955 and 1985 compared to 1985 and the real 2015, or do you think there was more of a change?
Oh, massive changes, especially social changes.
So
social changes,
more social changes.
Definitely.
I mean, there were social changes in the region. I mean, 55 people were a bit more
people
polite,
were more reserved,
and more respectful, and 80s had already changed quite a lot.
You've just hit an amazing point there because, it's a Hill Valley.
Hill Valley, yeah.
You see it in the 50s. You know that scene when music kicks in and Mr. Sandman comes on, and he walks into that sound of 19. That you feel that you're seeing that with him.
Yes,
he's in another world. But when you go back to 1985, the cinema is a porn cinema.
That's right.
In 1985,
that's exactly right. Yes,
that was the deterioration.
Now you see the 85 to now.
That is so crucial in this film.
That's the depressing factor of the way that society has deteriorated.
Yeah.
And now, of course, you'd see, because obviously in that film, when the part 2, they guessed 2015, they had the flying cars and everything, and of course now you'd see if they went from 85 to 2025, let's say they jumped ahead, you'd see everybody walking around staring at their phones like zombies, and all this crap that we have, all this. I won't go on too much, but a lot of stuff that it's fed to us, which I hate.
Right.
And a lot of stuff I'm very not into.
But the scenery from when he goes back to the future and there's that porno center and
he goes, everything's great.
The homeless guy on the bench.
Yeah. Brad.
It's not like that back in 1955.
No, it's cleaner and there's no graffiti and people were just, I don't know. It's weird. This is why I tend to like older shows. I think I'm feeling more. I have to say this as I'm getting older. I'm feeling them more and more out of contact or out of the loop with society. I don't know where it's going, but I don't like life in 2020.
Do you know one of the scenes is when he gets knocked over and George McFly does the runner. When he leaves their house, father says to daughter, he says, if you ever marry an idiot like that, I'll disown you.
That's right, that's it, yeah.
How'd you come out with it, didn't he, Dad?
I know, yeah.
Because they said, the other thing he said, oh, we've got 2 TVs, wouldn't it? But, and like,
nobody has 2 TVs.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how much the world has changed.
That's what's significant about it. It was like... Goodnight Sweetheart had an episode about a few years ago where he came back and he was seeing a lot of...
I saw that Christmas
and
special,
I was reminded about a bit of Back to the Future but of course it was more contemporary. I think he was in 1999 and then he went back to 2020, whatever it is. And he's seen a lot of the changes with society, a lot of the stuff that we And that's, but of course that was obviously ripped off from Back to the Future, which was so poignant for showing. And that's why it worked, because it does show how attitudes, things that you perceive as the norm, slowly change into a different direction.
Well, that's the beauty of the film.
That's why it's so clever. That's its strength. That's the strength of it. Basically,
it's everything. The setting up of the scenery, the actors, the family, the writing, the dialogue,
humour,
all of it.
Special
It's
effects, music,
sarcasm, especially. All it just works.
Absolutely.
Like, because Zemeckis said they tried. There were a few years ago that there was some. They wanted to make a sequel to it. They wanted to.
I know that he said
there was rumours of a fourth one.
What from various various things, right? Information, places of information. Apparently Robert Zemeckis said that he would never ever allow it to be remade.
No, he won't. Not while he's
while he's alive. There's some stipulation or something. Which I think
I don't think they made the nearest thing they did to a sequel was a game.
What was it called?
The video.
The game. Sorry. Yeah.
The story in that is it stands up.
Would you ever want to see it being remade? Would you ever want to see a new cast, new different
the game?
They can't do it.
When they did the game, they had an evil variant of Doc Brown running about the timeline. They had to undo what he was doing. Because he was being erased slowly, and that would it was sort of interesting, but really that's the game. The three films, especially of it, just leave it alone. You see, the beauty of this, they didn't have to make sequels to it.
No,
it
was fine standalone. Yeah, absolutely. But the sequels worked as well.
Yeah, they did, and that is the magic of this.
Exactly.
Because very rare when sequels.
They bring it down. They can bring it down.
Yeah,
but
normally sequels bring it down, but the sequels
they didn't
enhance all this into the perfect storyline.
Absolutely.
There was a cartoon series. I
heard about that. I never saw it. I know of it.
It's just a cartoon series. Like it's nothing special about it, you know. But it's got nothing to do with that. It's just every week they go in time with Doc Brown's kids and solve the mystery. That's it. I mean, forget that. The three films are canon, and everything else around it is just being added. But the three films, just leave it alone. But there were rumours. Somebody wanted to make sequels or revamp it all. Just you can't. They'll never do it. You never do it. Every time I hear Huey Lewis, that film comes into my
of course, The Power of Love. Yeah, exactly.
And for some reason, Christmas comes into my head as well. I find Back to the Future an incredibly Christmas-type movie for some reason, even though it's got nothing to do with Christmas. I don't know.
I never thought about Christmas. I can see where you're coming from, but I've never linked it.
Yeah, it's something you'd watch over at Christmas.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, even though it's not festive, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I suppose really it's time to sort of give it a rating out of 10. And I'm sorry, mate, but I'm going to have to give it a 10 out of 10. It's going to be a 10, I'm afraid. Sorry.
I totally concur, my friend.
No,
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Can't fault it. I love it. I think that it's... Please don't ever edit it, change it, add new special effects, whatever. Just leave it as it is.
Just leave it.
I just can't fault it. It's just such a good film. No. I think what we might do in the future, we'll review the other two separately. I think each one.
Yeah, I think it's best.
I think each one's worthy of its own reviews. But from part one, even if part 2 and 3, like we just said, if they hadn't actually been made,
I love part 2. I love part 2.
I like part 3 as well. I think it's. I
like it. It's like when it goes back to 1985 and Biff took over Hill Valley. It's just
and then
no class or style with any of it.
No,
it's just
alternate timelines.
Best.
And then you have part 2 actually goes back into the original movie. They're actually walking around scenes from the. I love it.
Running about, brilliant, and that'll be for the next one. But yeah, one of the best.
One of the best ever.
The best film trilogies ever.
Yeah, I'd say that. I'd say it's one of the best film trilogies ever. There are some good trilogies, but often you'll get one dud film which pulls the other two.
I mean, the question was, the big question is, was all this meant to happen? Was Marty meant to change the future? Was Marty a time paradox? It had to go back and do all this to restore his family. I mean,
it's the fascinating thing
interesting.
about
It is. You can go at it.
It's always fascinating to it's the grandfather paradox, because obviously or whether it was that basically there was the original timeline, and that's how it was supposed to be, and the Doc created a tangent. But isn't it in these ones that when you create a tangent, the other one is destroyed, or is it split off?
Yeah, well, at times, like the Doctor
sometimes
says,
they do that.
It's all timey-wimey, isn't it?
Yeah. Because sometimes
it's not a straight line anymore. They've sort of figured out.
Yeah.
But I love the scene. I mean, one of the scenes is when George Watt flies in bed and he's wearing nuclear suit and puts the headphones on him.
That's right.
Blasting death metal.
You get the Vulcan salute as well, and he's called Darth Vader, isn't he?
Yes, yeah, and he writes the sci-fi masterpiece based on it.
Yeah, I do like Michael J. Fox though. I mean, it's weird. I always feel really sad when I hear. Obviously, he's got his Parkinson's and everything, and it's always horrible when an actor who's so good in his younger roles. And
he did, and I've seen a few of his films outside of Back to the Future. He did a film where he's a Vietnam veteran.
Oh yeah.
Where he were in Vietnam War. I think Christopher, is it Sean Penn's in it as well?
Oh,
I only saw it once. He starts in Future where he's on a tube, and then he starts going back to when he was a soldier in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And his acting performance in it as this really serious character's incredible. Michael J. Fox acting range is, I know he's like for comedy, but he is a bloody good actor, and it is. I mean, my respect to the guy.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. There's a film I saw him which I quite liked.
The original girl, I think something happened to her. She had to leave something.
Yeah, I don't know what she.
I
think
she had to look after her mother or something.
Yep, she was only in the first one.
I think her mother were ill, and she stopped her entire film career.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was also in Mars Attacks in a smaller role, which is quite good.
He's good in that. He's good.
And he was also in The Frighteners, which I remember seeing that as well. That's the ones I remember him seeing him. I've not seen. What else have we seen? I mean, obviously he's not been doing many stuff in recent years because
I've not seen
You've not seen what?
I've not seen Frighteners since I last saw it on VHS.
Frighteners is worth a watch. It's quite good. I would recommend that. I've seen that. But like I said, a great actor in that, and I still remember from Family Ties. I mean, Family Ties wasn't shown a lot. I don't think it was shown much in the UK, but I have seen some of the episodes of that. I mean, it's very American comedy-ish. So I think that some American shows aren't shown in the UK because they're a bit. I don't mean to sound too American, but they're a little bit too different from the English audiences, kind of thing.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I don't know Family Ties. I like Family Ties. It's all right. It's nothing wrong with it.
I remember it back on Sky TV, and I'd tune in now and again.
I don't think it was ever on terrestrial TV, though. I might be wrong about that.
No, Sky. It was Sky.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever on. I think it was on Sky, but
I'm in and out of American sitcoms. There's one or two I do really get into, and then there's a lot of them I'm just not bothered about.
Yeah, sitcoms. I mean, I've never been a fan of Friends. I never found that funny, and a lot of people love Friends.
I had there was friends that were really into it. I mean, if I was in on a Friday night, it was on with Roseanne, and if I was in, probably watch it, and that'd be it. I never gone out of my way for Friends,
I like Frasier. Frasier's one of my favourite shows, American comedies.
Yeah, I don't mind. I did like the one in the bar.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Frasier, big fan of that.
Cheers. Taxi. I also like The Odd Couple from the 70s because I love the original movie with that.
I grew up on that. Yeah,
I love The Odd Couple. I love that.
Yeah.
But I'm not. There's a lot of American comedies I'm not into for some reason.
Yeah.
But Anyway, Martin, thank you very much for reviewing that with me. That's been a good one. Like I said, I'm surprised you didn't review it about 100 episodes ago, but we finally got there.
Yeah.
So we are going to be. Is it called Goliath Awaits? We're reviewing next week, isn't it?
Yeah, with Christopher Lee. Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
which I
Look
have
forward
seen,
to that one.
but that's definitely worth it. I'm going to rewatch this week.
Do you
'cause I've
want
not
a
seen it.
copy? I'll give you a copy of it if you want. Have you got
I've got it. I can watch it. I think it's on
Oh, right,
YouTube anyway.
okay.
So, but I will definitely give that a watch. I'll delve it out, and that should be a good one. So, Martin, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry about we had a few technical issues as usual, but it's been a laugh. It's been a good one. So, Martin, thank you very much. So, we will see you next week on the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.